Hello and welcome. Welcome again to another unbelievable episode, episode of True Voice with Dr. Fred. And we're doing the We the People Summit series here, where we're introducing you and often pre-introducing you to people who have agreed or who are in fully with the whole idea of what the We the People Summit represents. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine. We've been on podcasts together and had several discussions off air as well. A fellow psychiatrist who's out of the box, actually, even though he doesn't always see himself as that way. A man who actually uses listening as a key feature for healing. And if you look over his shoulder in this particular snippet, you can see a book that he wrote that has gone worldwide in multiple different languages. Mark Goulston is really an icon, and he humbly sees himself as just being another human, and in fact, that's all he really is, and it's all we really are. But Mark has made his impact in the world and continues to do so with different ways of looking at healing through conversation. It is an honor and a pleasure to introduce you, my audience, to a good friend and a colleague of mine, Dr. Mark Goulston. Welcome to the show.
Just Fred, looking forward to it. Always good to see you, and thank you for the platform to introduce something that
Yeah, and I, just to kind of pre-inform our audience what you're talking about, Mark and I have had some discussions on ways that he's developed to really make a difference in the world of healing and healing through conversation and connection and listening. Most recently, Dr. Goulston or Dr. Mark has come up with some really interesting ideas. And to me, and I really mean this, I've heard a lot of theories in my psychiatric career. This one is one that turned me on. Maybe the timing is right, or maybe just who I am as my career, or being a friend of Dr. Goulston, but there was something so new and refreshing about your new material here, Mark. If you like, maybe give a little teaser about what it is you're coming up with, what it is you're introducing to us.
what I realized is that humanity has been traumatized. And what I also realized about trauma, people are traumatized. It's interesting. If you use the parallel of going into surgery, sometimes you go into surgery to save your life. Afterwards, the organs aren't used to a foreign body, that scalpel coming in, and they develop adhesions between the organs. Sometimes those adhesions, which are not alive, can strangle organs, and then you have to go back into surgery. Remove humanity traumatized. Something that I will introduce when I am on the episode in the Welcome to Humanity.
The We the People. Yeah, the We the People Summit. Yeah. Go ahead.
You see a parallel between being born and buying a Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Rubik's Cube. All solved in the wrapper. Came out of the wrapper and it gets all jumbled up. That's part of the fun. And then you solve it to make like looks back. I believe that inside human beings is to feel as whole and, shall we say, as safe as we felt in the womb. So when we were in the womb, our moms were perfectly attuned to us. They didn't take care of themselves if they used drugs or alcohol or smoked excessive. Their tuning might not have been. But our wish was basically their physiology. But we go out into the world is tuned to us. We can't communicate what we're needing. The world is attuned to us. I'm going to get twisted. Hunger internally to go back to that Rubik's Cube as it was in the rest. Happens in just that Rubik's Cube. So the way it looked in that pristine fashion in not the solution that we need, but we don't. And our parents being attuned, that abuse, or later on in life, a call. Our mind, in a way, doesn't stop us to survive. Or is will develop these what I call traumatic psychological adhesions. It's up to do very well in life, but when we go out of the world and the world is not connecting to us and is demanding to meet it on its terms, not our terms, we'll develop coping mechanisms for the moment. All those opiates just to call the people. Being able to adapt to the world. What I'll be introducing is a process that I use. Patients who were suicidal for 25 years and not die by suicide. The process is called surgical. You with this. If you've been suicidal, you understand what I'm about. Been suicidal. Or the people who you're worried about who might. A person's suicidal and they're feeling hopeless, helpless, worthless. Unimpaired perspective. Impaired with death, the pain away. People who are deeply suicidal is death compassionate to their pain. And I will tell you this, one who has been suicidal on more than one occasion, tucked away in the dark, thing they can always resort to if the pain is too much. They don't tell people because they don't want to scare them. They feel if worse comes to worse, I can always way and suicidal patients. Surgical empathy does this thing. Not only does surgical empathy allow people to reach, let go for the old option, the surgical empathy can act sever those traumatic psychological adhesions. Things Dr. Fred shared with me. Just developed adhesions, anastomoses. And anastomoses are different channels. Being able to channels are not necessary function. Since we might develop a channel. The engineers and technology CEOs, a channel where we're incredibly analytical. We're amazing at solving problems. And our minds think like artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence think like our minds, and yet we cannot connect with the people we are clueless, frustrated. We ain't them. We're trying to help them by giving them solutions and advice. Well, they don't want. They would. I don't know. Can help you not only succeed, but make tons of which you'll need because you're going to get to now do serve and much looking forward to being able to spend more time with you and diving in and maybe even giving you a taste of what it feels. That what applies surgical empathy to.
It's really fabulous material, Mark. Thanks for reintroducing it. You know, you spoke when you spoke of the when you spoke of the psychological adhesions, you mentioned something about strangulating the adjacent organs. You know, that after the surgery, you're free from whatever the condition was, and then whatever happens, and these adhesions then form themselves and serve a negative function such that you might even have to go back in there and have resurgery. So I want to speak a little bit to this idea of the despair of, the trauma leading to hopelessness, helplessness, uselessness, purposelessness, etc., leading to despair, leading to then pairing with death as a possible choice for comfort or being taken away from the pain of despair. Is there some strangulation there? Is there an organ that you can imagine? Is there some, can we, surgical empathy, it seems, is a cure or a surgical intervention that removes the adhesions that are otherwise not serving us. That are otherwise strangulating adjacent organs, is how you put it in the physical sense. Psychologically, that also is available, it sounds like, through their surgical empathy, that you can release those adhesions so that they're no longer strangulating our pathways or our functioning organs. I hope I'm asking a question that you can address. The question is, yeah, yeah,
Give you an anecdote that I think will address it, and we'll repeat this. I may even begin the presentation with this because it was so compelling. Years ago, when I was in prison, resident, be on call in the emergency training. We didn't just learn psychopharmacology. We learned different modes of psychotherapy, including image, visualization, meditation was just being started, mindfulness hadn't yet dealt with me. Go on and power. The UCLA I'm training in those days, one of the top eating institutions. Letting people into the inpatient unit, you needed the two feed them because they were starving themselves to death. They were. One Saturday, I was on call in the emergency room. A woman who was skin and bones came in. She was probably 19 20. And it's clear she needs to be admitted to the inpatient. Well, I do an emergency room evaluation, go into it in depth. I just call the inpatient unit and say, I think this person needs something inside me or something about it resonated with me. And so rather than just going in to rest and turning you over to the nurse, there was no one on. I said to the young woman, something or might help you. It seems too upsetting. You can stop me, but I want to try something that might. And we had developed a bit of rapport, so she said, sure. She was seated in a chair, and I said, put your in the chair up and close your eyes. So are you right-handed or left-handed? She said, right. I said, close your eyes. I want you to put your left hand over your thumb, and I want you to start to breathe. I want you to feel the warmth of your left hand, and I want you to imagine the left hand of the mommy always wanted and needed emotion. That's your parent. But just imagine you're feeling, maybe it's the mommy you felt in the womb. Right? I want you to imagine that mommy is, and I'm not. Right? For several repetitions, and I said, now I want you to take your right hand and put it into your. And the right hand is the dad or the daddy you always wanted. Is on top of your mom, which is on top of you. And I want you to imagine that that dad is saying to you and your mom, I'm here. Breathe it out. Feel the left hand of your mom saying, I'm here, I'm not going. And then feel the right hand on top of your left hand. Here, we're not going anywhere. Kept doing. And tears started to stream down the sides of her body. And then there was a signal telling tears were ready, and they were coming down into the play. I said, I'm going to count slowly from 1 to 10. Sure whether this is hypnosis, visualization, or each of them start flickering your eye wide open, and you look around. Can you remember everything we talked about, or you can remember what your body will remember? Can mommy that you wanted and needed I'm here going? Can daddy saying to your mom, I'm going from 1 8, she started flipping to 10. That time, people from upstairs came to get her up there. And the bed was ready. And I looked at her as I looking into your eyes. Nothing for you. She was when the emergency were and she the tear is still
Beautiful. Wow. Yes.
And then in her life was not a she was coping with being out of control, being able to make it into adulthood. And I will introduce another term to you come to the summit to hear more. I felt she was suffering from individuation in what occurred.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Situation anxiety is when you're a teenager and you don't think you can make it into adulthood.
Interesting.
Belong to various coping mechanisms. If you suffer from an eating disorder, you belong to eating exercise like crazy. Grab on to those behaviors so that they're unhealthy. Grab onto them as adhesions and asthemoses as a way of feeling control of a very small part of life. You feel out of control everywhere.
Beautiful. Amazing stuff, Mark. And I think I share with our audience and listeners. I can't wait to hear more. I love how you think. I've told you that before. It's always true to be with you as you rolling something out and as you sort of confirming with your experience something that can be very useful for all of humanity. And boy, you don't have to be a UCLA trained, board certified psychiatrist to understand this. And that's what makes you so special. It's really fabulous to be with you, Mark. I can't wait to be with you at the start of the summit. Thanks for playing with us and working with us and bringing forth this new methodology, or I should say it's more an expanded methodology based on what you've already been doing, sort of like the next step as it unfolds. It's an honor to be with you, Dr. Goulston, and I look forward to being with you at the summit. Thanks again for being on the podcast and reintroducing yourself to me and others. And anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, all together. In all your relationships, into people curious about what they're listening for underneath their listening. They called Michelangelo. And the whole premise to follow a famous quote from Michelangelo. I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I said it. What surgical empathy did with my patients who were suicidal. Saw hope in they could carve the way and so that emotionally next to them in the dark night of the soul, keeping them company before I threw treatment. When they felt less alone in the dark night of the soul, they started to cry, and draining the hopelessness, started to heal from the end. Into more of this conversation you're having with someone you into their conversation, especially if it doesn't feel like it went that well, then you listening for something. If you did, what you for. To get
Fantastic. Mark, thank you. I can't wait till our discussion in a few weeks. It's just a pleasure. Thanks for introducing. Have a great rest of the day. It's just an honor as always, my friend. Thanks again.
the honor is all mine and the privilege. Call you my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that deeply. See you at the summit, everybody. This is just another example of some of the amazing stuff that's about to come out. So thanks for being here, and we'll check you on the other side.